Authority meeting for the City of Rochester, October 18th, 2023. I apologize for the delay. We were waiting on a quorum, which we now have. Madam Recording Secretary, the roll.
Tony LaPuma.
Here.
Tanya Karsten.
Here.
Roger Knapp.
Yes.
Chris Johnson. Eric Diana. Paul Haig.
Here.
Bob Bloomingdale. Lisa Germani Williams. Mayor Bixson.
Here.
Chairman Gio Vanelli.
Here.
Marilyn Trent. Here. Lisa Swiftney.
Here.
Don Sinkowitz.
Here.
Christy Tabarro.
Here.
There was a quorum.
By the skin of our teeth or the hair of our chinny chin chin, as they say. So welcome and thank you for joining us this evening. First order of business would be the approval of the meeting minutes from September 20th, 2023. Anybody?
I will go ahead and approve the, I'll put a motion to approve those minutes.
Got it. Motion by Haig.
I'll second it.
Support by LaPuma. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Audience comments. Presentation of donation from the Italian Happening Car Show. A good evening and welcome. A friendly face to the DDA, and we are grateful to see you this evening. And anytime you come bearing gifts that are of monetary nature, you're always welcome.
It's a welcome back. We've been doing this for a few years now.
Yeah.
And this year, the Italian Happening has a $3,800 check for the DDA and also $3,800 for Paint Creek Center for the Arts.
Fantastic.
They have been dividing equally over the years. And I don't have the math all the way down, but I think we're pretty close to $18,000 to each of the nonprofits over the past 5 years.
That's fantastic.
And hope to do it again next year. Who wants the check?
I think you should give it to the yes young lady.
He's given her enough checks over the course of time, I'm sure.
I mean, you were talking about deep pockets. After a while, you develop short arms.
That's right. T-Rex.
Thanks, Dad. Okay. Not awkward at all. Thank you.
Thanks a bunch for that, as usual. And to your point, you guys have been doing this for a number of years. And for those that don't know, this is related to an Italian car organization that's in the park. And, Christy's dad and his group have been involved, I don't know, feels like for quite a while. It's got to be 5, 6, 7 years, maybe.
Yeah. How many cars do you have now?
Me?
No, not you. I know how many cars you have.
There were 120.
120.
Alfa Romeos, Ferraris,
Wow.
Lamborghinis, Maseratis, and we even had some Ducatis over there.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. And you're singing the song of our people. So
It's a great, I missed it this year and I'm disappointed. I went last year. It is really a great show.
yeah.
You guys do a great
A
job.
lot of fun.
Yeah.
A lot of people go to that.
Well, that's part of it. We look at it as a community event because it's in the park and the park goers can come in. They can eat at the food stops
Yeah.
and stuff like that and enjoy the cars and enjoy the park.
Beautiful cars there.
That's good stuff. Well, once again, Mr. Pollack, thank you so much. We appreciate it. And
No problem.
can't wait to see you next year.
Okay? Hopefully I'll have deep pockets.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Chrissy, go ahead and put that on the agenda now for.
I got a note.
Thank you so much for that. We appreciate it. All right. With that, liaison reports. City Council, Honorable Marilyn Trent. Good evening.
Good evening. This is pretty short, only a couple of things. One of them was that Senator Weber came and gave his report. He said that there was a 7% increase in revenue sharing one time, 5% one time, 2% ongoing for local public safety initiatives. Then he also said the transformation of Brownfield passed in June 2023, and that is the Michigan legislature has passed a bill doubling the annual tax incentive on brownfield redevelopment projects or properties that are otherwise obligated or contaminated or blighted. These properties often are left undeveloped because of their expensive cleanup costs, of which we've all learned about. So actually, because of our brownfield issues, that's a good thing.
That's fantastic.
All right, so then there were recognition of Jason Dickinson, that we recognized him. I think we're going to recognize him again because I don't think Chief Cieslik was there, but he was because he got the award for Community Hero from the Rochester Chamber of Commerce, Regional Chamber of Commerce at the Sunrise Pinnacle Awards. Yep. And also, our fire department got an award because their team has set a goal of having Rochester become the first dementia age-friendly city, because that was a really big deal for the state. So we're kind of trendsetters here. We are trendsetters, a full range of programs that would have a direct impact on the quality of life of those suffering from dementia or Alzheimer's is now under development. So that's being led by Christine Cole in the fire department. And the DDA is having some training sessions for businesses. is
Yep,
my-
they hosted one last night, and then they're doing another one, and I think we're gonna try to do something maybe after the holidays to get a little bit more attendance.
Yeah, okay, yeah, it's a really good idea. So, that's it.
Fantastic, thank you for that, and thank you for 50% of the Chamber of Commerce update, too, so. Kill two birds with one
There's a
stone.
little overlap.
Right, I know.
Of which
Little
I
bit.
wanted to thank them for adding, I don't know when they added it in, I don't know if I
Yeah, no, it's
noticed,
fantastic.
but that they do give public service employees and departments awards.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic, and it's well-deserved. So with that, Lisa Swiftney, Chamber of Commerce. It's like
Okay,
she teed
well.
you up there, so.
As Marilyn said, we did have our Sunrise Pinnacle Awards, and somebody in this room got an award, finally. So unfortunately, I was not unable to attend because my mother was having surgery, so I was in Arizona soaking up the sun. But it was a great event, and it does not say, Marilyn and I were looking to see what year, it doesn't say a year on it, it just says, it just says the 2023 Sunrise Pinnacle Awards. So we were trying to figure out how many years in a row it's been,
Like 13 or more, it's been quite a bit.
so, yes.
And there you are, Ambassador of the Year, Lisa.
That is right, thank you.
Fantastic.
So, and then, some of our upcoming events that we have going on is, we do have a Biz and Brews networking event coming up on, October 25th. That is going to be at City Tavern. Did they change their name yet? I'm not sure.
Officially, the
Sandra.
menu's changing tomorrow, the sign's on the way, but it will be
Okay.
423 Main Bar, Grill, and Rooftop.
Oh, wow.
It's a
A
long
lot
one.
of numbers.
As of right now, it's City
They
Tavern.
wanna let you know what they do.
Yes, so, and then,
Wrap around the building.
right.
Probably.
So everything on Main Street's gonna have an address name for it.
I know, I was
in it
gonna
now,
say,
right?
guess I'm just gonna go.
We do have some ribbon cuttings coming up. We have a ribbon cutting the end of the month for Puro Clean. But then our signature event on November 30th is going to be the Grand Marshal Gala. We announced at the Pinnacle Awards that Tim Crawford is going to be the Grand Marshal this year. And then on December 3rd is the Rochester area hometown Christmas parade.
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas.
It is. And if anybody's been downtown, they know.
Right.
I like how half the street's lit too. That's just pretty.
It's a game of inches.
Yes, and that's all that I have.
All right, fantastic. Thank you for your report. We appreciate it, and it's very exciting times, certainly this time of the year for our community. Historical Commission, Don Sinkowitz, good evening.
Good evening. Start off soon here, we'll start planning for the distribution of the coloring books for Founder's Day. We'll pass those out to all the second graders in the Rochester Community School. And we timed it approximately 2 weeks ahead of Founder's Day. And Founder's Day this year will be on March 17th, 2024. So time seems to fly right past. Right after that, of course, we're already planning on the next Heritage Festival, which is at the end of May. I think also in the local papers, there was much information about the historical plaque that Lynn Anderson kind of shepherds and oversees that. The plaques now will cost the citizens, the first 20 will cost the citizens $150. The plaques actually cost about $250 to manufacture, so there will be a savings for the first 20 people that sign up for the plaques. The plaques are for any of the houses that are 50 years or older. I did want to mention that Lynn Anderson has done a great job. I think I'd be surprised if there's somebody in Rochester that doesn't know Lynn Anderson. And the sad part about that is she did lose her daughter. That information is all on her Facebook page, excuse me. So if you're looking for some information, you can either probably email Lynn, or if you're a friend of Lynn, then on the Facebook page. Also, I'd like to, although the chief's not here today, I was gonna thank the chief for the great police report that the police department has on their Facebook page. That was nice to see, some real positives in there, some very educational and information. So that went, again, thanks the chief for that. And that should do it.
Fantastic. Thank you for the report. Any questions for any of our liaisons? Seeing none, we thank you for your service, and we shall march forward.
PSD.
Oh, sorry. Well, you know.
Caroling, okay, first of all, here's the October update.
Right, go.
Okay. Caroling in the city, the board forwarded a recommendation for approval to city council to hold caroling in the city on Sunday, December 10th.
Excellent.
And I think there may be a lot more going on, I don't know. The PSD approved $5,000 for the holiday downtown gift certificate promotion, which is always very, very popular. Have you lines for that one, don't you?
It's terrifying.
And the staff is reviewing and reviewed the upcoming holiday event schedule, which Christie will give a brief overview of that later. There's a lot going on. Thank you.
Yeah, fantastic. Didn't mean to, I always kind of mushed that and PSD, other part of it in the reporting at the end. So it's like we get you twice, so it's it's good stuff. All right, so thank you for that. Moving on to general business agenda items, cannabis ballot issue, Mayor Bixson.
Yes, so I thought I'd give a quick update. I think maybe most of the people up here know what's going on, but just in case of the public, 2018 Rochester City Council voted not to have cannabis stores in downtown Rochester. We voted no, we don't want that. Outside group came in and put this on the ballot. They got signatures and put it on the ballot. The city and the DDA is not officially taking a position. And I think Chairman Giovanelli are allowed to take as citizens, and so I am urging people to vote no on both of these issues. It's going to increase our traffic downtown, increase security issues, and basically, we're not against people doing marijuana. It's just we don't want it downtown in our city and take away, and to me, a big thing is taking away what the elected representatives of our city wanted. Question?
Yeah, I'd like to also put forward that the people that are for the marijuana sent out that very misleading postcard.
Right.
And I'd like to address that they said that they're not going to be downtown, they're not near anything, and that's all malarkey.
Yeah.
So, and again, I like to use the same idea we've been using. What if you had 3 Chick-fil-A's? You know, it's going to tie up traffic tremendously, and we sure don't need that in Rochester. We already have enough issues with traffic.
Yeah, and so I'm very optimistic, but people need to get out and vote and let the people of Rochester decide what we want in our city. We did have a lawsuit that was public knowledge that was thrown out until after what happens. The person who runs the Roxy is the one who sued the city. So that's public knowledge. And
I'm sorry, could you explain that a little bit more? I didn't know anything about that.
yeah, so there was a lawsuit. There's groups, you know, it's a long story, but there's some groups of people who want marijuana in the city who don't think they're going to get one of the 3. So they're actually working against it. And there was a lawsuit. The owner of the Roxy would like to own marijuana in downtown Rochester. But the city, after having to hire attorneys, got it thrown out today in court. This is a big money issue. And so I believe if we can vote no on it and significant, we can keep maybe the wolf at bay. But, this is a big issue with big money things going on. So that's,
One more thing. You pointed out earlier that if you vote no, you have to vote no on both parts of it.
Correct.
So let's make that clear.
Yeah, just vote no. And again, I'm very optimistic. I've met very few people who are for this. I think we've gotten the word out. But people need to get out and vote. And if, you know, if it passes, it passes. But, and you know, that's going to change our charter. But hopefully that doesn't happen. Councilmember Trent, did you have a comment?
Yeah,
Or,
just
through the chair.
Yes.
Chairman, what Paul Haig said was the other piece of information was that they said on that card that it would lower taxes. It will only increase our revenue by 1% of our total budget to run the city for the year, and it will not lower taxes.
Right, and we will get like $160,000, but we will have costs that will equal that and go over it. So actually, it's, I believe, a net loss for
Yeah.
the city revenue-wise. So that, you know, the whole thing of, that's going to allow us to do all this stuff with all this tax money is, in my opinion, untrue. So that's the marijuana. It's all marijuana now until Election Day.
Right.
Yeah.
I gotta hope that it's overwhelmingly
Right.
defeated.
It has
So
to.
they don't come back right away.
They
Yeah.
can, though.
So, as the mayor had alluded to, the city and the DDA are not taking a position. We can't, but, you know, we also aren't, you know, individuals. And as I think everybody in this room is aware of, I drafted a note sort of talking about the non-weed issues with respect to this and having to do with traffic and the concerns therein. So if there's any questions in that regard, you know, I would just refer you back to the DDA website and just to click on my memo. But just a couple points of clarification. Once again, these two ballot initiatives were written by people and proponents of this particular thing. It was not written by anybody in this building or anywhere in the city. These were outside influences that, in the way that each one is written, that if one says no and the other one says yes, it's yes on both. So the only way to make it not happen in the city of Rochester, you know, 3 weed stores and, you know, a 1 square mile block of downtown. But I will encourage the other group to maybe take a look at our sign ordinance, because their signs exceed the size allowed under our ordinance, and they need to remove their signs forthwith.
And I think the city's on top of that.
Yeah. So anyway, vote.
Right. Just one last thing. The, at our last council meeting, this was issued, everybody, all 7 members of the city council are against this and are going to vote no, and everybody said that publicly.
Well, that's personal, though.
Yeah.
Right,
But
personally said
personal,
that, thank
yeah.
you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Individually.
Saved me a
personal
deposition there.
Yeah, right. Well, so that's the thing, and we talk about the 160 grand. I mean, the lawsuits that are, the one we've just done, was not funded by insurance. We're out of pocket on that. Just multiply that by 10x, adding new law enforcement. There's just no way that that'll ever cover. So there's only one way to make it go away, and that is to send a resounding no. And if they don't, then it is what it is, and we'll figure it out. But I'd rather not have to.
But does it make it go away?
Oh, they'll always try and come back, you know, but if you're just psychologically, if it's a close, then
They'll
that
come
means
back.
they've got a chance, but if it's overwhelmingly no, then that means they have so much work to do that it may not be worth it. That's the working theory. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. They can come back, I think, in 2 years and redo it again? So, yeah, it's gonna be, every election. Every election, yeah, so, you know, it's just gonna be one of those things. There's just so much money involved and so many groups that want to get in. And there's a reason why they come to Rochester and they come to Grosse Pointe, who's having a similar issue to us right now, is that they can get these things on the ballot with just a handful of people. It was only 360 people it took signatures to get this on the ballot for our city. That's why you don't see it in Rochester Hills, and you don't see it anywhere else, because the number of people that would have to, you know, have their signatures vetted on these things is much larger, just the law of large numbers. We've got 13,000 people in 3.5 square miles, and you're talking about, you know, 3 dispensaries and that, it's goofy, but whatever. Who am I?
So get the word out.
Yes, that's it. I think we've
Beaten that one.
beat that one, yes, the weed horse is dead, so let's move on to Front Porch Project, which I believe is me.
Yep.
Christie and I are going to tag team. So, as you know, we were 0 for 2 on our first requests. The federal request for monies from John James' office through the federal government funding did not come through. In fact, I don't think any Oakland County people got money at all, did they?
No.
It was all Macomb. Macomb folks, which it's fine. So that was our first one. Like, all right, fine, no worries. It's fine, everything's fine. Everything's fine. So then the second one came down, and we also found that the state MEDC funding did not go through either. So we're, 0 for 2. So the last piece that we had was the funding through the county, and
It's coming.
it's coming.
So we're very excited. We just found out yesterday that the county has confirmed, because the commission to apply for the MEDC RAP grant, they had to have matching dollars from the county. And so the question was, they were coming from their ARPA dollars, their American Rescue Act dollars. So were they still going to put that money in? And so the answer has been yes. We don't know for each community what they're getting. They're reaching out to each community that was a part of the original grant application to see if they are still planning to execute the project, because without the state funds, some people may not be able to pursue their projects. There's also timeline restrictions on when you have to have your project finished to use the ARPA dollars. So in the next couple of weeks, we should have an answer on what that is. So if other communities fall out, then they'll take those monies that would have gone to those communities and redistribute them equally to, or equitably to, the other people that had projects going forward. So a couple weeks, and we should know what that number looks like, but we were excited that they're still going to support it. The total pot for the 13 communities is $4 million. That'll be split amongst the 13 communities. It's not equal, not everybody gets the same amount. It was based on size of project and then proportionately. So, to be continued, but
So
we got one.
Yeah, we'll get something. We're 1 for 3. We don't know the total dollar amount, but I guess we don't know what we don't know at this point. So once we find that out, I suspect by the next meeting, we'll know, and we'll be able to have some discussions. So you'll probably put some guardrails around timing and that sort of thing, so we can sort of, my gut tells me once we know what we got to work with, we'll just probably readdress it in January, goals and objectives, and then just sort of reboot. So that's just kind of my thought. Mr. Hague?
Okay, I have a question. How big is our project compared to the other projects that are vying for this money?
We were one of 2 of the larger projects. I don't know that we were top, but we were probably pretty close. So they were 2 big projects like ours, and then there were a lot of smaller projects. So, but again, it's proportional. So everybody was getting, 25% of the pot, or whatever the number was that they figured out. It wasn't, yeah, so we'll see. But if everybody's still going forward, then, but we're still getting whatever.
Yeah, so
we'll
we'll,
find
like
out.
I said, we'll know with greater specificity in a couple of weeks. And then by our next meeting, we'll be able to address it. And my gut just says it's going to be goals and objectives in January, and we'll sort of go to version 3.0, I suppose. But we'll figure that out at that time. Any questions for Christie or myself regarding that? Seeing none, so I'll move forward. Oh, I've been waiting for this all night, Nick. The Smart Transit Update.
It was a stirring meeting.
So, last election, the voters in Macomb, Oakland, Wayne, approved a transportation millage. So we're all paying now for transportation. So it took a while, but Smart put together their master plan. They reached out to us last week. We brought them to our staff meeting. So I had the whole executive staff there. They brought here actually, and they brought their team in and went over what their initial look for northern Oakland County looks like. So we basically focused on us. They're gonna meet with the Hills separate. We invited the Hills staff here, but they had a staff meeting the same time we did, so they're gonna meet separately. So in essence, it's a route that we'll call it dead end at Oakland University. So really it starts at Oakland, comes down University, turns south on Main, gets down through, all the way down Rochester Road to the Birmingham Transport Center. Now they're gonna get to the State Fairgrounds. So it's basically, I think it's Rochester 492, if I remember, was the name of our route. So it's basically, they had a lot of stops in town. And we sat down as a staff and said, we're not necessarily telling you what to do, but they asked for our input. And it was like, you have too many stops and you don't have them in the right spot. So we worried about things like let's say, pretend you're at Oakland and you're coming into town. If their premise is to serve the people in the adjacent neighborhoods from a stop, which makes sense. So if you would be able to walk to the stop, get on the bus and go wherever you want to go on that route. So that meant you would probably, if you're on a southern, we'll say if you're on a northern suburb or another northern part of University, and then you had to get to the bus stop going southbound, you would at some point cross University. Well, they had stops kind of mid-block. Like, there are no crosswalks there. We have Helen. We've got Wilcox. We've got Pine, that's our lights, so why don't we move them close to a light so people can cross safely to get across the street? And when they come home, flip it, and then to go back the other way, you'd be at a light. So they agreed, and it was good input, so it was very good. They had a good, open-minded group. They had their engineers here, they had the transportation people, and they talked about the bigger picture, how they're gonna use other transit, like our OPC people, they get you to a spot that you can get to go on the bus. But at this point, they're not gonna roll this out till April. We talked about, do you want bus shelters? Because if you do, we have very skinny ribbons on University. There's no room to put a traditional bus stop. They need to make them ADA compliant, they thought, but then they knew that the buses they're going to use have the platforms that will drop down. And on University, you could drop down to the curb and be flat. So probably at worst, they would put a slab to get the lift down to a hard surface, and then you could roll onto the sidewalk to get where you want to get. So we thought that was good. On Main Street, the stops were, on southbound was in front of FedEx. So it's nice because we talked about you can't stop in front of our parking spaces. That means you can't stop from University to south of Second. And they agreed. At FedEx, you could stop and not impede anybody parking in front of you, so that's a good spot. On the way back north, you would stop before Second Street, where the old collision shop was. Again, no parking there. It's just before the right turn lane, so people are used to stop for big buses. So we worked out a bunch of different locations that we could work with them. So they don't know about shelters. We talked about everything from if you're going to gather people to wait for a bus stop, they're gonna be throwing away cigarettes or trashed. Are you gonna have trash barrels? Do you expect the city to pay for that? Because that's not in our budget. So they talked about they will have their own group that will come and monitor, taking care of the stops. We said snow plowing in the winter, we don't go down University and do the sidewalks. So you'd have to actually remove the snow there so that would work. So I think it was a positive meeting. They felt good about it, and they'll get back to us, so come to city council actually when they get more details.
Yep. And then just to add to that, the packet that I gave you, this has all of Rochester Hills. This is before they met with us to see what's in here, but feel free to look at all of the fun things that are in the packet. But what they're gonna do, because we asked, what if stops aren't very frequent, aren't being frequented? They said they are gonna wait a year, so they're gonna be monitoring each stop throughout the whole system. And if, at the end of a year, if they feel like a stop has not performed, then they may make some adjustments and remove some things. The service we're gonna have is an hourly service, so it'll come to each stop every hour, and it's not going to be I'm not sure exactly what they called it, but they said basically if there's not someone at the stop and someone hasn't pulled the cord on the bus to stop, they will just keep going. So it's not a mandatory stop at every place that they have. So I think that'll help things. We talked about offering our services to help with, do a little ribbon cutting, try to make it something fun, whatever, and so they were into that. So they're gonna follow back up with us. We had a lot of questions about communication, how they're getting the information to the residents. Marcy had offered some opportunities to get things inside the water bills, inside the newsletter, things like that. So we're gonna do everything we can to help them out with that. But as we get more updated pieces, then we'll be happy to share that with everybody.
If they pull this off, then we want it to be successful. So we want our folks to have the same rights as everybody else that's paying. So we'll do everything we can to help them get the word out. And we were all happy to see that they will modify it if it's not working or you don't need certain things. Don't waste your time or our time. So it was a good meeting, so.
So I have a question. Yes. So obviously we have to pay, that passed. What if we said, no, we don't want bus stops?
They didn't give us that option. They said,
well,
it's a higher authority that agreed to do that. So they said the money goes through the county and they're going to implement the plan. So I don't know definitively if we have any rights to say no.
They force us to do that? That's my question. So I guess I'd like to find out.
We will find that out.
Because, yes, we have to pay. I get that. That was voted on by the people. But
yeah, that's a good question.
We say we want 2 and they say they want 6, can they force 6 on us?
Yeah, I can find that out.
What do you think?
I think they won't do that, number one. I think they listen to us. They knocked down a bunch of them right out of the gate. We're like, if you put it there, where are you going? You're not following your own premise. There's no neighborhood there. There's no place to stop. So they were quick to modify it. So I would assume they would work with us, but I don't know, Mayor, if we could just say we don't want any. I'm not sure what the
Right, I
answer
mean,
is.
I'm not saying that,
Right.
right, but I'm just saying is,
What are our options?
what are our
Yeah.
options?
Yeah,
I mean, I assume they can't tell us what to do.
yeah, we'll find that out.
I mean, I know the marijuana people want to tell us what to do, but, right? Marilyn, do you know the answer? I'm sorry, through the chair.
I'm just
Mr.
here,
Chairman,
just here for the
can I
beer,
say
man.
Yeah,
something?
sorry.
Go, please.
If you're done.
Yep.
My understanding is that what Nick, our city manager said, was he wants to make it as successful as possible, so you're trying to make something, whether you want to be told what to do, but if that bus stop works better here, then that's where it should be, if there's people using it. But I would assume, if you're having no one using different ones in a year from now, we have probably a big option to say, well, okay, we'll be stopping at 3 places now, or they might rearrange it, they won't stop
Yeah.
as much, or you just don't know who's gonna be using it.
At that meeting, they didn't say, because we were pushing pretty hard to you just need one stop by Crittenton, one downtown, you're good. People can walk, we walk around here, so they didn't offer quickly, they didn't like that, they have certain rules that meet ADA standards that they have to provide. If I remember, now I'm starting to remember this, they talked about their standards from the funding source, said, you have to serve these people, and to do that, you need to stop here, because it covers this radius of neighborhood. So I think they have it all plotted out, but I will get a definitive answer to that, Mayor.
Yeah, because that's,
Yeah,
just curious.
That's a fair question.
Please.
There's a way to word it though, right? That you can't tell us what to do or
Right,
can't
right,
tell us,
right.
but that's not the question.
Nicely.
It's not, that's not the question, right?
We're not gonna go on the muscle, Marilyn.
I don't know. I've been in business for a little while,
So
and
I
that
guess-
never worked. I tried when I was younger.
Well, I've been around government a while, and the easiest thing to get started is a government program. The hardest thing to get rid of is a government program. So, and when there's funding in place, people are gonna find a reason to have their existence. And if it's 6 stops or 8 stops and they get continued funding, they're gonna have 8 stops.
There's also equal opportunity under the law.
Yeah, no, not so much.
And, yeah.
It used to be.
Well,
Madam
it's
Director.
constitutional.
I wanted to add 2 more things. One thing that they didn't have a lot of detail on, but something that they said from community meetings had been of interest, are something similar to a Lyft or an Uber, that they would be able to take you places, that there will be an app that you could actually call for a car, that kind of thing, that, would be $2 to start, and then they'd give you the price to go places, so it'd be a separate thing. They would hope if people were coming from the same community, they might be able to make a carpool situation, but that was one thing that they talked about. The other thing that I thought was interesting is they said that they did a lot of surveys leading up to this, and some of the ridership interest they had was a lot of OU students.
Yeah.
Really want to be
And
here.
employees.
We've always talked about being
Yeah,
able to
and
get
so
downtown
this, if that's something that we're still interested in, I think this might be a nice way to do it, that they even mentioned that some of the kids were asking them at the last session up there if they're gonna be able to be ready to go for the holidays, because they wanted to come see the lights. So,
And then they talked about, their data shows them employees here that want to pay for parking, can't get here, service employees, that they would be the more likely. We asked them, who is your profile, who's going to use it? Because this is Detroit, and we drive our cars everywhere. And they agreed, but they said there are certain segments that will have a hard time getting there. And that's why I think they're thinking this Uber Lyft thing that they'll have, that you can get to medical services, it's $2, or depends on how far you go. But I think they know that we're a little different than just a urban core where people are gonna come out and wait at the bus stop. Probably not so much here, so.
Oh, we get a bunch of weed stores downtown, might change it.
We talked about that.
I think it's called, was it Smart Transit or something? Because it's like Uber.
Yeah.
yeah, they don't have it ready to go yet, but, yeah.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
only question I had is, how does that integrate with the OPC bus system, and will that change how they roll?
No, they said no. So, Renee's
'Cause they have
they're really
separate
up in
funding.
theirs. They're doing a lot of different things now, getting people farther to hospitals, to medical things. So
Gotcha.
they've really opened up their ridership opportunities. OPC has, but they got a lot of money and they're making very good use of it.
Gotcha.
Okay?
Anything else?
Just to say
Please.
they got 2 million was my understanding. With this community made out,
Yeah.
like, we really got some extra money, so
OPC
besides
did.
that
No,
should
no
be
money
in-
down, easy monthly payments. We'll
Well,
get
for the
after this. I
OPC,
know.
which they really needed it.
Yeah, for sure.
I've said that, my mom used
Yeah, yeah.
it, my stepdad, and, yeah.
It's fantastic service. I just was curious if it would lighten their load, I guess,
It
was
wouldn't.
more what I was
They
saying.
said a separate ridership.
Gotcha, okay.
It doesn't-
All right, anything else? I think we've pretty much covered this one. Thank you for that riveting presentation, Nick. We appreciate it. I'm sorry, Don, go ahead.
I was just gonna mention, I used to see the bear bus from Oakland University.
Yeah, and it stopped. It happened for like a couple of years, then it was dead.
Yeah.
Is that what it stopped?
COVID
Okay,
cut it down.
COVID did it, okay.
You know, and maybe this will help, the students, and
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what it was brought up, the students getting from Oakland to downtown and vice versa.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Coming down sober and leaving not sober, yeah.
at least-
Yeah, so they got a ride.
100%. Hey, man, this is, I got 2 kids in college. I'm not, I'm a realist.
Safely.
Right, exactly. Okay, with that, lease renewal for Downtown Collaboration Studio Moi. So, in the packet was the current lease and discussion points with respect to the lease. And then, burning news, hot off the press, this afternoon, we received from, the landlord, the proposal with the numbers on it. So I asked Christie to do a revised memo for item 6D, which, was placed in front of you. So to run through this quickly, the current lease is at $2701.75 a month. The proposed lease would be a 2% increase to $2755 for year one, and then 1.5%, and then 1% the year after. And with inflation in excess of 3%, this is it's actually a very reasonable lease. And from a retail standpoint, and being in this business away from this, my sitting here in this chair, $13 to $13.50 a square foot for retail is a very good deal. So, so to me, it's a no-brainer. My recommendation would be to go ahead and instruct the director to go ahead and enter into the lease. But that was just me as one voter. I can't make a motion. So, aside from that, the only question that I would want to get addressed is with respect to the basement and the water issue. I think our insurance covers it, so.
Yes, so you may have noticed, if you had a chance to read the memo that I had set in front of your places, there has been water in the basement. It's a chronic problem, but the landlord hadn't really pointed it out to us because previous tenants hadn't used the basement as much as we do, because we literally moved everything there. As I like to say, the DDA comes with baggage, both figurative and literal. We have filled that basement, and when we had the monsoon come through during sidewalk sales, we had a bit of a flood. Since then, and Marty and we cost shared the cleanup. He had somebody come out, Serpro, and cleaned out the whole basement, and that was great. And since then, we've gone ahead and invested in a lot of plastic totes, a lot of shelving units, so that we don't have an issue. It's not like, flood. It's just annoying because you go down there after we have some kind of rain and suddenly there's just water in places that don't make any sense. So he just wants to make sure that we won't hold him responsible for damage of any items, which we have not had damage other than just cleaning stuff up. But he wants to make sure that he's not going to charge us for the basement. He just asks us to keep the aisles clear, which we have, and that he'll continue to deal with the water, but he doesn't want us to come after him for replacement of items, which we haven't had anything damaged like that. Like I said, it's just annoying water. It's not, inches of water that we're stumbling through. So he just wanted to make that clear.
Christie, where's
yes.
the water coming from?
2 places. So it's exciting because we just never know what's going to be down there. So, yeah. So in the front of the building, he claims that ever since we did Main Street Makeover, there's always just a leak that comes through. He mentions that to me often. So I have not taken the bait, and I've been like, oh, really? So we get a little bit there. That's really errant. Where we have our problem, if you've ever been to the studio at the back door where the parking is, you'll notice it's a slant. So when the water comes down so fast, even though there's a big catch basin right there, when the water comes down too fast, it literally is like a waterfall. And it flies in the back door. And apparently, because no one used to use the basement, their solution to that was that they put grates at the floor of the back door so that the water would then go down. So, super. So, yeah, it's not the best plan, but I don't know what the solution is. And at $13 a square, I don't think he's going to fix it. But we have a new HVAC that he put in for us, so that's exciting. So we just deal with it. But when it came in at Danson, it flooded part of the studio. It flooded the back because it just came down too fast. But so it comes from 2 directions. And then just randomly one day, it was coming over from Greens, and we have no idea why. So it's just exciting. It's just an old building, and So like I said, we have taken precautions. Everything is either lifted on a rack or it's in a plastic tub so that nothing can get damaged anymore. And the area that floods most often, we have moved all of our items out of that area, including where the vents shoot the water down into the basement.
So do you need us to put a canoe into the budget for next year for you?
Yes, kayak maybe. Yes.
Can I make a
Yes.
motion?
Yes, sir.
Seeing that that's less than half of the square footage price in that same block,
Yes.
I move that we release it.
Okay, a motion by Knapp to accept the lease terms as stated and direct the director to enter into a lease agreement with the landlord. Is there
I'll
support?
second that.
Support by Hague. This is an expenditure of money, so it is a roll call vote. So Madam Recording Secretary, at your leisure.
Tanya Kirsten,
Yes.
Roger Knapp,
Yes.
Paul Hay,
Yes.
Tony LaPuma,
Yes.
Mayor Dixon,
Yes.
Chairman O'Malley.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Very good, okay. All right, so there we go. And then in terms of the water issue, I joke about the canoe and the kayak, but
Yeah.
maybe if there's things that we can do to sort of, deal with it. Well, didn't we put some like inductors into the alleys there that, for the rainwater off the roof?
Great problem there.
Yeah.
It goes away. This pipe's not big enough to take all that water.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it only happens when it comes down so very quickly. Bob has said Bob Bloomdale said next time he's at the studio, he'll take a look at it and see if there's anything he could come up with that we might be able to do, but, yeah.
Got it.
Put fish tanks down there.
Yeah, you know what, we have ShamWows. Don't laugh, they work.
Yeah, no,
So we were
I
ShamWowing that,
believe
it's how we got dancing in the street off the blocks, because we ShamWowed all the chairs and tables,
All
it
right,
was great.
so waiters and kayaks in the budget, move that to goals and objectives, if you would.
Yep, will do.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
Nick, doesn't the city have an obligation to have, for that water coming down there? They do not have an obligation for that.
It's the grade.
We provide a storm in the alley, they gotta get to it, so. And it's there, it's just undersized. Literally, you might have sandbags that you store inside that fatter edge, you just block it from coming to the back.
Yeah, I don't know what other solution there would be. Bob said he's gonna come take a look at it, see if he can figure
All
out
right, well,
any.
keep us posted, and
Yeah.
until then, waiters.
Yep.
All right, very good. All right, okay, downtown gift certificate match program, Madam Director.
Back again. So this program started in 2020 with Consumers Energy. They did a statewide program where they were offering matching dollars to cities or DDAs that had gift certificate programs. It was an answer to COVID and trying to support the businesses. They did matching funds in 20 and 21. DDA had also matched some funds over the years. So did PSD, so did Chief Financial, and then we had some angel investors as well. The last year, it was Chief Financial at $5,000, PSD at $5,000, and DDA at $5,000. That's what we're looking for again this year. Chief Financial has already committed that. PSD passed it at their meeting at the beginning of the month, so we would be looking for the $5,000 from the DDA. It would be coming out of the Love Local dollars where we sell all of our merchandise, so it would be coming from that fund.
Got it. So we need?
I need $5,000.
Here, let me see what I got.
Please.
I got a 20.
Bucks tonight.
As the chair, I cannot make motions, but if there is, I believe we've already set this money aside in the budget, so it's just a direction
I just
to.
want to reallocate it from Love Local
To the gift
to the
certificate
gift
fund.
certificate.
Yes.
As the recording secretary stated so eloquently, the thing that she's looking for somebody up here to say.
All right,
Okay.
I just said that. And I'll put forth.
All right, very good. Motion by Hicks, supported by Knapp. All in favor? Oh, it's another expended, or do we have to do a voice or a roll call vote?
You're not really spending money, but you can do one if you want.
Overabundance of caution, do a
Let's
roll
do it.
call vote, please.
Tony LaPuma,
Yes.
Tanya Kirsten,
Yes.
Roger Knapp,
Yes.
Paul Hay,
Yes.
Mayor Dixon,
Yes.
Chairman O'Malley.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Very good. Okay. Good?
Yes, so
Okay, next.
we don't have a date scheduled, but I'll let you know when the BOGO is coming.
Gotcha. Holiday events update, sweet and condensed version.
This, the sweet and condensed version, because I knew we had a lot on the agenda tonight. So it is just my annual, I want to let everybody know what's going on. We do have quite a bit. The first thing off the blocks will be the pre-sale for the downtown cookie stroll. This is this year's tin. which I think is abundantly cute. For anyone who's not familiar with the cookie stroll, businesses sign up and they provide a cookie, and we're not talking like a cookie, we're talking minimum 3-inch cookie that you then go along with your postcard, you go to the different shops. Bakeries do it, as well as bakeries provide us with cookies for retailers so that you don't have to be a retailer, or you don't have to be a bakery to do this. This year, I believe we have a total of 14 cookies, so you're a dozen and then 2 bonus cookies. And it's sponsored by Love Local and OPC. So OPC is one of the bonus cookie locations, so we're really excited. So that's super fun. This goes on sale November 10th. It's online only. This is our 3rd year doing it. The first year, we had 100 tins, and they sold out in 7 minutes. Last year, we increased to 150 tins, and they sold out in 5 minutes. I'm not sure how that works, but it happened. So we've talked to the businesses. They don't think they can handle more than 150 people in their door, plus everything else that's going on at the holiday time, because it's also Kris Kringle weekend. So we left it at 150. So if you are interested, get on and refresh. So there we are.
How much is it?
$35.
Okay.
Yep,
Price.
I think we ought to have some samples.
certainly. I can make that happen. Yes, there's some good cookies that are going to be in there, but.
The tins go on sale November 10th?
November 10th, 10 a.m. on downtown Rochester, mi.com. It's in the store. It'll appear. So for anyone who's looking, if you go on at 9:55, you will not see it. It'll automatically appear at 10 o'clock. Last year it was at 10 o'clock and 15 seconds because it was on auto-populate, and people are calling us at 10 o'clock and 10 seconds saying it's not there.
Wow.
Okay.
And then where's the cookie stroll?
Cookie Stroll itself is on December 2nd. That's Saturday. During Crinkle. So that was very exciting. Okay, so then the Holiday Expo, which is a business developments event, and I know Paul will talk about that tonight, but that takes place on November 13th from 5 to 8 at the Royal Park Hotel, and we are sold out. And I'll leave the rest of the details to Paul on that one when we get to BizDev. The Festival of Trees Cocktail Preview. Tickets are on sale now. It's the 10th annual Festival of Trees. So we have the cocktail preview on the 17th at Rochester Community House from 7 to 10. And then we have the Festival of Trees is open to the public on the 18th and 19th. We had to stop our sponsorship tree sales because we have too many trees for our committee to build. We at this point are building 32 trees. Should be fun. So I have a really good committee and they work hard. So yes, so for the evening we have, for the cocktail preview, everything is donated. So we will, as of right now, have food from La Pumas Coney Island, Crisimere Restaurants, and Brown Iron Brew House. We still have room for one more restaurant. And then our wine is going to be provided by Touraloo and the Hemingway Room, and our beer and soda is provided by Rochester Mills Beer Company. We also have Santa there that night if they would like, people would like pictures, and everything, tickets and the auction are all online now. So anything that I'm talking about tonight, feel free to go to our website, go to What's Happening, and you'll see the logo for every single event, and you'll know what's going on. Speaking of anniversaries, it is the anniversary of Lanyap this year, 50 years of Lanyap, started by Ilma Findlater of Books and Things in 1972. The math doesn't work because we didn't host Lanyap in 2020. So actually, technically, last year would have been 50, but we couldn't have Lanyap, so a couple years ago. So there we are. So Lanyap this year, we'll have Santa and Mrs. Claus. We will not have reindeer. The reindeer have been retired from coming out to events. So we'll just have Santa and the Misses, which is fine. Lights are going up currently, as you may have seen downtown. But I will show you, if anybody follows us on Instagram, I can do this really quick because this amused me greatly. I don't know if anybody saw this. Let me see if I can play it and crank my volume.
Well,
Taylor did this.
I did see that. Yeah, that's cute.
Okay, but what's really cool about that is, stop that. And then when you view the insights, this was posted a week and a half ago. It has had over 144,000 views. It was liked 6,144 times, 76 comments, 3,274 shares, and saved 254 times. So what that means is that we reached over 142 Instagram users. Only 8,600 of them currently followed at the time downtown Rochester on Instagram. 133,000 did not, but they saw our reel. So we're super proud of that. Taylor did that, and she put the elf music on it because it made me happy, so I just watch it when I.
Behold the power of social
Behold the power of social media. So we are trying to do more video and more reels, but that's a Taylor thing, so. Anyway, so also on Lanyap, there, in honor of the 50th, there may be a big and bright surprise. And that's all that I am authorized to say by the PSD.
Got it.
That's all I got. Big Bright Light Show also kicks off on the 20th. Lights are going up as we speak, and it will be going through mid-January. When we get to my report, I'll give you an update on the fate of Fire and Ice. So we'll get there. Downtown Toy Drive as a beneficiary for Neighborhood House will be the last week of November. We usually get from people that stop by the studio and drop things off. We also have an online, if you just can't go shopping for toys, but want to donate dollars, and then we'll do the shopping for you. That'll be available as an option as well. We usually, with the help of the fire department, deliver 2 ambulances full of toys, which is pretty great. So, and it's very much appreciated by the clients at Neighborhood House. So,
I have a question.
yes, sir.
Can we have some posters in all the different retailers about that?
Yeah.
Okay, because I think we could really enhance that.
Yeah, we absolutely can. So that was another one we started doing this during COVID because the need was so deep for families that people were displaced in a lot of different situations, but it's become so popular. People are so generous with us, so we've just been continuing it again. So we re-upped with them this year, and then our toy list is coming. So Snowman Stroll. So the snowmen are back. It was very funny at PSD when we were at Goals and Objectives, and I said, so Snowman Stroll. Everybody's like, yes, why wouldn't we do it? Okay. So we're doing it again. I brought just 2 of our samples this year. This is a Snow Joke. So it's a snowman, and he's covered in dad jokes. Are you ready? Okay, here we go. Let's see here. Where does a snowman keep his money?
Where?
In a snowbank.
Oh, dear.
But it's all covered in dad jokes. And then behind it, if you want to look, she sent me a list of potential dad jokes, which are hilarious. So that is one. And then considering last year we had Sam the Snowman from Rudolph, it only seems right that now we have Hermie from Rudolph. So these are only 2 of the 12 that will be coming back. What's most exciting for us is that Chief Financial Credit Union reached out to us. They already have an annual agreement with us, and they had a little extra money to spend, and I'm happy to report that they are now the presenting sponsor of the Snowman Stroll. We're adding some new flavor to it, including they're going to host an artist reception. Of the 12 snowmen, had I known earlier, I would have gotten a 13th, and we could have put up there. But one of the downtown snowmen is going to get relocated to the Chief Financial Building in honor of their sponsorship. But lots of new things coming with that. There'll be a whole article in the magazine detailing their sponsorship. So a big thank you to Chief Financial for all of their support this holiday season. They're kind of all over us. They also sponsor the Neighborhood Light Fight, which is December 1st through 10th. Then also that weekend, Kris Kringle Market, December 1st and 2nd. We are sold out of that event as well. That one is newly presented by Chief Financial Credit Union. We've already been talking that next year we're just going to do one big sign that has all the holiday events and then just Chief's logo because they have almost everything now. So, but we thank them for that sponsorship, and that will be the beer tent again. The Glühwein and beer will be benefiting Ra Ra and Ra Ya. And they staff the tent the whole weekend. And we have more Glühwein coming this year, and we ordered more mugs so that we won't hopefully run out on Saturday. So that'll just be more money for the charities, which is great. And then Caroling in the City on December 10th. On Sunday, December 10th, we have Vibe Dance Team is back. It's led off by Rochester Falcons Marching Band, which is a new thing from a couple years ago when they couldn't host the parade, but the kids were ready to play. Now they come back every year because they really enjoy it. It's a great way to kick things off. We will have choirs on stage the whole time, both at Lanyap, which I mentioned last month, and here we'll be singing, not us, the Keynote Sisters will be singing the Christmas song that they are writing specifically for Rochester for the holiday season in honor of the 50th of Lanyap. We figured it'd be nice if we had our own Christmas song. So they'll be performing both there, and then Phoebe of the Keynote Sisters will be leading the crowd in the jubilation around the tree at 7:40. And then last, but certainly not least, Pancakes and PJs, December 14th. We started that event last year. It's a cute little fundraiser that we do in partnership with the fire department. It is Grinch themed, so we have a Grinch photo spot. We have Grinch centerpieces, Grinch crafts, and that is, as of yesterday, is being presented by Walton Wood on Main. And also we're excited to have them back. They're going to run the kids' craft. They're even talking about doing cookie decorating. I haven't told Chief John yet that, so good luck. But we also I also have to order my 2 pounds of Christmas sprinkles and all the whipped cream that the kids love to put on their pancakes. So we're busy. We have a few things going on. We have the big bright postcards that list the major events on the back. But the businesses, we offer these to the businesses if some people still like to send them out. So this year's order was 13,000 postcards that the businesses requested. So we still have extras at the studio. If anyone wants a stack of these, a lot of people like to stick them inside their Christmas cards, do whatever you like. Stop on by, we have them available. And I believe that is literally everything I know about the holidays right now.
I doubt that.
Yeah, well, we can't say everything.
It's a lot.
Well, and that was the sweet.
There are
version,
surprises.
So there was a.
That is the fastest I could go through it. There's a lot.
Well, it wouldn't be our community if we didn't have those things going on, so.
Yes.
Appreciative of the effort and looking forward to getting through another set of holidays. And then, by the way, if we do need deer, we could probably call up our friends in Rochester Hills and have them come get their deer that they have here.
Yes.
Okay, with that, any other questions for the director in that? Seeing none, regular reports, your director update, Madam Director.
Me again. 2 things. One, our Oakland County evaluation, they have already set the date. It is going to be on Wednesday, February 7th. They may be spending the day with us. Lately, they've been doing half days. Once I get a schedule, then I'll send it out to everybody and let you know where you need to be. This will be hopefully our 19th accreditation in a row. Going for that sweet 20 and 25, so we'll see. So more to come on that. And then Fire and Ice Festival, we got the call from the festival from the county last week that they will not be returning for Fire and Ice. Jenna asked if that was a permanent decision, and they said they really didn't know. So what's that?
That means yes.
That's what we thought, but we're trying to stay optimistic. But at a certain point, we appreciate everything that the county does. They bring an amazing party to us, but it's important that weekend is super important for our businesses. So we're already working on putting together something new. In the past, we called it Snow Glow. I don't believe that name's going to stick, so we're just asking people to save the date in the magazine that's going out. We're going to the printer at the end of the week, but we're looking to do something that still involves our ice sculptures, the collegiate carving competition, the fireworks, and then we're looking to add a shopping element. And then there's been talk, one of the ideas that we've had on the books for a while, but we haven't pulled the trigger on, is a strolling mac and cheese event with the restaurants. So working on some details. We're meeting with promotions next week to start figuring out what things look like. So look for some more information on that shortly. So we're disappointed, but we are moving forward.
I know, call it ice and fire.
My personal favorite, we've been throwing names around. My personal favorite so far was downtown Rochester, Ice Ice Baby.
Ice, baby.
I know, we really liked that, but I don't think that's gonna be it. But whatever we're doing, it'll be January 19th and 20th.
You can have them everybody can bring their convertible Mustang GTs downtown.
With the rag top down?
That's exactly right.
Yep. And then last but not least on my report, I will be on vacation the last week of October, heading to the House of Mouse. I usually shut off my email so that my family doesn't murder me. So, yep, I will not be around. But if you need anything, call Jenna Taylor or Nick, and anybody can help you.
Gotcha. And then we're redoing the meeting, right?
Yes, so we were going to see for the 8th if we thought we had anything. I don't anticipate us having anything, so if everyone's okay, I think that we're going to cancel the November 8th DDA meeting and then circle back in December, which we usually meet, because it's holidays, we meet the week before, so that would be December 13th. For the DDA board.
So I'll put a placeholder in that for now, and then the only thing that I could think of that we would call a special meeting together in the interim would be pending this voting from Oakland County. So,
yeah.
So once we get that information, I'll just send a note out, or we'll just send a note out to everybody so you guys know. So as it stands now, the November meeting is going to be canceled until further notice. And then if we need to get together, I know that we'll put the bat signal up in the sky, and then we'll get together, but, and then December will be our normal date, which was the 13th, you said?
13th is the second, yeah, so November and December, we always go the second week, just because the way the holiday falls, it always is harder to field a quorum.
Right.
So
And then cocktails at Tanya's place afterwards.
Yes. Yeah, you weren't here for that, Tanya. Sorry, you got
Right? Yeah,
elected for
we
cocktail.
volunteered you since you were the last one in that we were going to have cocktails at your place.
Awesome.
Yeah, right.
By the way, November 15th, I'm really happy that it would have been moved up and then is therefore canceled, but we have a hot toddy class going on in the tea room.
That's precisely what we were talking about. So that's
By Miss Cassie from the Spice and Tea Exchange.
oh, see.
Oh, that'd be very good.
All right.
Very good.
I'm a big fan of the toddies. So let's
Great.
pitter patter. Let's get after it,
Cooperations.
people. All right, very good. Thank you for your report. That was both events and marketing and.
It wasn't. I got that one. I got
Oh,
more.
sorry.
I'm sorry. We got a lot going on. So Rochester Posed, it was rainy, but it was so great. The businesses every year, I think they can't top themselves, and they do. It was just so very good. The People's Choice winner was At Home Furniture with the local heroes, where they actually recruited real people in those different professions. So they had people from branches of the military, Keith Harper and Fireman Burmeister were both featured in the window as well. So it was pretty cool. And then for the Judge's Choice, it was South Street with the Wicked Witches of Oz. But they were all pretty amazing. So we started to talk about themes for next year, next week at that. Taste of Fall just concluded on Monday, as well as the Magical Mural Tour, although they're still up because Bob is sick. So a little bonus on that. For the Magical Mural Tour, the Judge's Choice was Blue Heron Moon, which was here in the park by Community House. And the People's Choice winner was Growing Kindness, which was on the terrace at the Royal Park. Catherine Bailey, who is now returning with us, actually her and Amanda. Amanda Scarlatta is the artist for Snow Joke. And she did one of our snowmen last year. And then Catherine Bailey, who is Growing Kindness, she is also going to be doing one of our snowmen this year. So we're really investing in growing our artist community, which has been pretty great. And then last but not least, we do have Trick or Treat and the Halloween Fest this Saturday, and it's supposed to be really cold. So yes, and but Fox 2 is going to come cover it in the morning, so they want to get a sneak preview. So Jen and I will be down here with merchants at 6:45 for 4 live cut-ins at 7:15, 7:30, 7:45, and 8:15. Tune in.
Taking one for the team.
Tell you, I honestly, it feels like a fire drill at the office pretty much every day for the last 2 weeks. I don't even know what's going on. It's 5 o'clock and we ought to sit there and say what just happened. It's just,
That's hilarious.
that's us.
All right, well, thank you for that. Financial report is in your packet. If there's any questions, feel free to reach out to finance, myself, or the director. Biz Dev.
Ms. Deb, we have a lot of new businesses opening. I'm going to actually have our dear city manager come over here and tell us about what's going on, but we have tons of new places coming in. We got lots of restaurants, and we have, what about 96% now?
97 still.
97 still? Okay.
Percent occupancy. That's pretty amazing. So Bitter Tom's open in Pamela's Antiques. Last week, Jeremy was there with his dad Friday night, said it's really a cool place. St. 1881 now is doing coffees and pastries in the morning. They were just started in the evening, so that's on Walnut. The owners of the brunch house are doing that. Cafe 316 was approved at the Planning Commission Monday night for pay in lieu of parking. They needed to buy 4 parking spaces. That's in the old, what was the dog bakery, 3 Dog Bakery, and then recently Le Macaron. They closed, so this gentleman, they're gonna serve Turkish coffees, baklava, French pastries, 12 kinds of ice cream, and it's family owned, and they're doing a heck of a job on the inside decorating.
looks
So it'll be a
great.
little cafe, seats, stay in there, and they're pretty proud of it. They talked a little bit, Sam talked at the Planning Commission Monday night, introduced himself, so we're excited about that. Today, Tony Randazzo from the apartments at Walnut and First Street got in touch with the building official, like, how can I get a foundation permit? So, looks like that project's gonna get going, because the city council was kind enough to do a brownfield there, because it was dirtier than everybody thought. And that, once that commitment was made with the city partnership, then Mr. Randazzo, I believe, is ready to go. Mr. Rewald got through the planning commission, will go on to city council for the November, first meeting in November to schedule a public hearing for a special project and site plan for a 2-story building on the gravel parking lot in front of the Rewald headquarters. So it's gonna be a market and a restaurant run by Mr. Plez, of the Mills fame, and then an office building on the second floor. It's a beautiful building. Planning Commission worked with them to gussy up the corners with landscaping and brick walls and lots of trees and connectivity with the sidewalks, et cetera. We're excited about that. In November, Mr. LaChurco will be back for the old cement plant down off of Diversion. And then right around the bend, there's the bridge abutment for the Clinton River Bridge. That's a separate project. That's like, I think 20 apartments or condos, we're not sure yet. And then he's proposing to build 2 4-story apartment buildings along the river. So that's coming forward. The elevator was approved, obviously, and now they're starting the underground and cleaning up the rest of the brownfield. That will take place all winter, and then they'll go above ground and start renovating the elevator in the spring. Mr. Schneider at North Main, the condos that got hit by the windstorm and then he ran into financial problems, back on track. Very excited about that. They've stoned and bricked the front of the 2 units that were already done, and the garages are built in the back, so now in the spring he'll just keep going as he finishes the first 2 units. But I think somehow I was surprised today we had a little issue on Main Street that somebody wanted us to deal with, so we went to meet with Arizona Salary. There was an issue there, and then on the way back I kinda thought I saw a painting truck going down in the garage of Dr. Atala's garage, so I followed him down there. And sure enough, there's people down there painting all the walls white. All the ceiling tiles are put back up. The ground's all cleaned. The junk's all out. Then I went back upstairs, and they've ripped out all of the brick pavers in front of the fountain and the entranceway to Silver Spoon. That's where the problem's been, all the water that's been pouring through. Because as you remember, Ernie's was approved for the basement. They're already into that $1.5 million. It flooded again in the last big rains, and they're like, what are we doing? Spending $2.5 million on a restaurant, it's gonna flood every time there's a giant rain. So they ripped out all of the bricks and everything, the top level, rubber membranes going down. And Dr. Tala, rumor, we got informed that they're gonna just keep going down and redo the whole parking lot above the parking deck. If that water problem is solved, it looks like Ernie's is gonna get back on track, which would be very exciting. So Silver Spoon's really doing well. It's just that basement's been a challenge to keep dry. So if that happens, that's wonderful. Good Realty is going into where Artera Realty was. Artera moved to the workspace. That's doing really great. Drive by there in the morning, you can see people working in the workspace on both floors, first and second. So Good Realty's going to there, and then a division of Christie's Realty is going to go into the former Zoot space. So that's a good spot for a realtor. It's not on Main Street. It's off on the side street. It was a tough place to do retail, and they're moving in there, and I think that's gonna be a community-oriented business. They've been asking all about opportunities for sponsorship. So I think they're gonna jump right into town, which is great. What am I missing?
Yeah, they're at Properties, it's called.
At Properties.
Yeah, that's the name of it, at Properties, yeah. So division of Christie's Realty, and then,
SB.
oh, thank you. So, yep, so there was a place called the Beauty Vault that never opened. You saw the sign up, the windows had paper in it. She never opened her store. Paid rent for 2 years, never opened the store. So met a young lady who runs a jewelry business that I think for women now mostly it's permanent jewelry that you get welded on you. It's real fine jewelry. It's pretty cool. It's real hip.
On you.
So, on your wrist, yeah. It's not a tattoo.
It's a laser job.
Yeah. So she is, and it's custom jewelry, so she is taking that spot, just approved the sign yesterday, so it's called SB, ESSBE, I'm not exactly sure what that means, but, it means something to her, so she's going in there, so we're basically full again. I mean, it might be 98%, because Doc's apartments are all done, the upper floor's leased, bottom floor not so much, but so we don't count that in the retail, so there's not a lot of space left anymore again. So Moon River has not committed to what they want to do. The 2 partners are fighting amongst each other. Sell the property or don't sell the property. I've sent them people that will pay cash for that property to build a 3-story building. Retail, 2 condos above it, 2 floors of condos, but they can't get on the same page as to what they're gonna do. And we confirmed with the collision shop and the cleaners that it's still under contract with Mr. Lombardo from Lombardo Homes and Chris Parrott from Dan's that want to build office on the first floor, no access from Main Street, you come in from Mill or the alley, and then condos on the second floor, and then there are 2 private condos on the 3rd floor. It's a gorgeous building, so, hopefully that can go, it's a dirty site. They're working with the people in LA that own the the cleaners to say, you should participate here because you're the ones who polluted the property over the decades that they've owned it. And then lastly, if you're driving around town last Monday through Wednesday and this Monday through Wednesday, mass craziness on the road. So MDOT is replacing the entire deck on the Paint Creek Bridge. Today they poured the cement for the second half, so about 6 more days to cure. So that will be done. I just drove on the way in. Romeo got paved all the way from Parkdale. Parkdale got paved from Romeo all the way to the water tower. They just striped it tonight. It's awesome. Maple Street got milled and filled. Over at Stony Creek, Ramblewood got done. Then we went through all the alleys, the DDA alleys on both sides. Anything that was bad was taken out, put back in 1.5 days. So new alleys, now they're gonna come and stripe it and then put that red walking pedestrian / loading zone on the inside of the buildings. Hopefully the weather holds and we can get that done this fall, but they're fixed, they're done. And First Street now, new alley from Mill up to First, the alley there going northbound. So that was really bad. So, that was good use of the DDA's funds. And then, 4th Street got replaced from Main all the way down. Again, the striping will take, it might have got done today, so they're striping the spaces, so. Lots going on in town, a lot of traffic disruption, but we're basically done as of this Friday. Everything should be striped, done. As soon as the concrete is cured on the bridge, they'll be out of there. And MDOT, today Alec was on a Zoom meeting with MDOT. They're still committed to 25 December. They will let the contract for 26 rebuild of North Main, so. This is the first time they've confirmed that schedule's gonna stick, so 1.5 years from now, almost 2 years, but, we'll get that done, so I think that's it. Lots going on all over the place, so we're trying to wrap it up so we get out of her way. When for all these events happen, we're cleaned up pretty good, so, we're happy with good expenditure of our dollars. If the council approves it, we need to spend the money that we're approved on and get the projects done, so this has been a really good year we have some difficulties, as the mayor knows, on the east side with like the curb job. One contractor kind of just backed out at the last second before he was gonna do all of our curb repair on the east side. So we've had that challenge, but we're wrapping up the SRF, which was South Castell, Wesley, and North Wilcox gets started Monday and will be done in 3 weeks. So all those sewer jobs, we got them done this year. So we're pretty excited about that. They're lining all the sewers in town. If you see, at night they're working, they're putting liners in the sewers where we don't have to dig up the road. We just line the sewer, so a lot of that going on too, so I think that's it.
That's great, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Here. All right, with that, anything else with biz stuff?
Nope, that's it.
Site.
Well, Nick covered all the streets and the alleys, but have you noticed the lights are done on Walnut and Second? And what a difference. I was watching Dan put the old ones down, the new ones up. Holy smoke.
there's so much
They
more
were a
light.
disgrace.
Yeah.
Even the light, how it's lit up now, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
So we're cleaning her up, pretty good.
That's what we're here for. That's what we do, right? Good stuff. All right, well, thank you for that. Appreciate it. With that, miscellaneous comment. Anybody got anything that we didn't cover this evening?
Yes, Jerry does.
Oh, well, get on up here then, man. What are you waiting for? Good evening.
Good evening. Jeremy Peckins, for those of you who don't know me, I'm the Planning and Zoning Administrator for the City of Rochester, started in May. So we started doing our Parks Master Plan a few months ago. We're working with McKenna again. They did our previous one. This one's more of an update. So I guess highlights, we're focusing on Elizabeth Park. It's kind of the forgotten park in Rochester for the last few years. So we just want to bring that back up to its previous state where very passive park. We're not doing a parking lot there, so we want to keep it a neighborhood park for the community that lives over there. Some of the highlights of that are going to be playground, maybe some adult workout equipment, some nice hammock poles that are very passive, so you don't have to go find the 2 perfect trees, and you can hang your hammocks on some poles and get some nice shade. And just some other more passive things, update the parks, or the pathways to ADA, or as close to as we can get. They have a drainage issue that we're gonna try to work with engineering and try to figure that out. We got We did an online survey as well as a community engagement event at Elizabeth Park. About 40 people came to the community engagement event, which was really nice. Had a lot of really good discussions at Elizabeth Park. And we had over 240 people do an online survey in less than 40 days. So that's really amazing numbers for community engagement. I think we sent out just over 1,000 flyers for the Elizabeth Park development or engagement. So timeline-wise, we just got approved by the Planning Commission to open up the 30-day mandatory review process for the Parks Master Plan. So on Friday, that will be live on the website. We encourage anybody inside or outside the city, anybody that uses a park is allowed to review the document, email me any comments that you have, and that's anybody that uses the parks. So that will end November 20th, and then it will go back to the Planning Commission for approval, to go to City Council for approval, and then they'll be submitting that by February 1st.
Sweet. So breaking ground in the spring, so that's good.
Yeah, so it's doing good. If you have any questions, I can answer anything.
I think that's fantastic. It's always important to stay on top of that because this is a key part of our community, right? So
Yep, definitely.
thank you for your work in that regard. We appreciate it. Anything else?
I got one thing.
Yes.
The last couple of weeks, we had the party for Paul and Linda, and God, did we have a ball. Paul had champagne there, wine there. That party ended at 12:30 in the morning. No, but it was a lot of, both parties, we had a ball. It was a lot of fun.
That's good.
It was great. It was really great. And he was a great host.
Very well deserved.
And all his people that work with him did a great job, too.
It's a fun night.
We're just guys getting after it. See, the old dude still got it, right?
This guy's got it, I'll tell you.
All right, with that, meeting adjourned.
Did we?
I think so. We've got extra if you need more, but we haven't started distributing them yet. They just came in.
Oh, okay.
So but I'll double check if you're on the list or not.